Hey guys, this is Dr. Clyde Letson, and today I'm actually behind the camera. What I want to do in this video is to kind of show you guys where most of the magic happens. When I say where most of the magic happens, where most of my YouTube videos are shot, and also where I do most of my engineering work as it pertains to my business. Okay, as you all know, I have a downtown Decatur office where I do that's where I mainly meet with my clients. But when it comes to doing the engineering work, this area here, which is my at-home office, is actually where I do most of my engineering work. And so I'll give you guys a tour, if you will, of the lab space here. So my lab is actually separated into parts. All right, over here, I'll step back a little bit. Over here is where I do brainstorming. I kind of put together ideas as to how I'm going to either construct circuits, put together drawings, think about how I'm going to code, probably do some flow charts and so forth. That's where I do, again, the brainstorming. That's where that brainstorming happens. Over in this area here, that's where I have my print center, yeah, right, it's a printer. And on top of that printer is on top of a small bookshelf here that contains a lot of textbooks that I accumulated over years. Most of them honestly came from my college days. I always, from the beginning, I said I'm going to keep, the engineering, the science, math type textbooks, because I knew I was going to need them as I move forward through my career. So I kept a lot of these textbooks. Some of them came also from the days of teaching. And so again, this is just part of the library here. I got another bookshelf in the room, and I'll get around to that in a little bit. Over in this area here, this is what I like to call my simulation area. So for instance, I have different type of simulation software on the computer. And I also do like drawings for engineering buildings, electrical drawings, mechanical drawings, plumbing drawings, and so forth. So this is my, again, my simulation area. And on my simulation desk, you'll notice I have a little tablet there. I actually use that tablet, and you can see me right there. I actually use that tablet as a phone, believe it or not, and I'll explain a little bit later. Behind here, I have my stamps for my PE work inside of these cases here, and that's probably a better, try to turn this camera a little bit here. So that's what my stamp looks like. I'll go ahead and open the box. So this is my stamp for Florida. As a PE, as a licensed professional engineer, when it comes to stamping drawings, we're supposed to keep these stamps on hand in order to stamp our drawings. So I'll go ahead and put that on the table for now and put it back in the box in a little bit. So again, when it comes to drawings, we're expected to stamp them as long as we approve them and so forth. And all that again is within my simulation area here. Okay. Then over here, what I have is my prototyping area. And so in my prototyping area, prototyping and testing, I guess you can say, I have some cases that have, for instance, some electronic components that are on the inside of those cases. And then also I have some different types of mini computers and microcontrollers and microprocessors. So I have, let's see, some of you may be familiar with this. I have a Tower board. I also have a couple of Arduinos. And again, some of you may be familiar with the Arduino. Got a Raspberry Pi. And then I also have this one here. It's called Galileo. And this one is from Intel. And I kind of, the camera focus in a bit, and I kind of use these for the purpose of, doing different embedded system type programming for different clients and so forth. Over here, I forgot to mention this area over here. this is kind of like a work table. And so on the work table, for instance, I have some paper clips and that sort of stuff, got calculator. Also, I have this little gem right here. This is from my times of Rockwell Collins, and this was one of the designs I did when I was at Rockwell Collins. And so when I was leaving, the supervisor of the project decided to give me one of the boards and put it on the plaque. And on the back of the plaque here, I will go ahead and flip this over. You'll see that these are signatures and farewell wishes from when I left Rockwell Collins. These are just signatures from some of the people that worked on the project. And so I kind of keep this, because it means a lot to me. I kind of keep this around because it was my first commercial design project that actually went all the way through approval. And so I kind of keep that around. And it was nice of them to, of course, give me this on a little plaque here that I can use as a pen holder and so forth. But anyway, again, that's all on my desk here that I use for just kind of a workstation, if you will, a work area where I can kind of spread stuff out. FYI, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the stuff that's in here is actually stuff from way back when, college days, and I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. This right here, so I do some question writing for the NCES. That's the group that writes the exams for the professional engineering and fundamentals of engineering. And so I have this book here, and of course you can see me on it, or this pamphlet, well, not really a pamphlet, I guess it's a folder, with some of their promotional stuff. And so they kind of put me on the back there. But anyway, I have that out there because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use that for the purpose of, kind of getting my name out there. But anyway, and also they put me in another book over here. This one is a 2017 square. There I am, looking all confused. What the hell? All right. But anyway, so I got all that on my table here. Just again, this is just an area I can spread out and just kind of look at drawings or whatever. So over here now, in this area, this is where I do my prototyping, and I also do any sort of testing. So I have my testing station up here. I have an oscilloscope, function generators, and waveform generator, power supply, multimeter, and I have a projector there, but that's of course not for testing. This is more for presentation and so forth. But anyway, in this area here, again, which contains my stuff for prototyping, I also have this cadet here, just to kind of put together some quick circuits. And as you can see, there's a circuit on there right now that I'm kind of working on. And it's just a way, of course, prototyping. It's just a way to kind of put together a circuit that I may have designed over here in the simulation area, and then just say, okay, let's go ahead and put it on the board, see if it still works, or if it works as advertised from doing the simulation. And then I have a computer here that I use to connect to different pieces of equipment and to kind of run parts of simulation if necessary, or just to see what is on those test equipment, and to probably save them and put them into reports for clients. Over here, you'll notice what I do have over here is just some tools and some cabling. And then over here, gonna go into this area here. This is where I do a lot of soldering. So I have this desk set up right here where I do soldering again. As you guys know, electronic parts get real small, so I have that jeweler's lenses there, I guess you can call them, to kind of help me see as I'm putting together parts and soldering them onto boards. So this is my, I guess you can say, my construction area where I kind of put things together. And as you can see, it's a mess. And then over here in my cabinet, or my in my closet here, I have a set of computers. And if you guys have ever called my business, this is the computer that actually talks to you. Okay, so I have that set up. This is all part of my networking here. So I have this computer here. It's called a PBX, a private branch exchange. And what it does is it simply picks up answers, phone calls, send the phone calls to whoever as you decide you're going to want to talk. Pick option 1, pick option 2, or whatever. Down here, this is my computer that does on-site backups, and you can probably see I have a couple of hard drives connected to it. So this computer here does on-site backups, and then I have a UPS that kind of keeps things up in this area. So that's most of where my networking stuff is. I showed you part of it already with the router and cable modem there in the corner. But that's again where most of my routing stuff is. And then in here, this is simply a mess. This is just an area where I just keep different components and boxes. If I need to ship something out to a client, I go ahead and I package it up. There's also packing stuff in here, letters, so I can envelopes, so I can send stuff to clients and so forth. Again, this room is a mess. I'll clean that up at some point and make it look neater than that. And then lastly, in terms of areas here, this is where I just kind of keep notes. And then over here, this is my second bookshelf. And I have a shredder over there to shred paper, make sure your confidential information remains confidential, okay? And so again, this is just a simple tour of my lab space here. Again, I just want to give you guys an idea as to where I'm actually working out of, where most of this magic actually happens. As you can see, I have some awards up there and diplomas, degrees, and so forth on the wall. Maybe another video I'll explain those. But again, this video was just simply for the purpose of giving you guys an idea as to where I'm working out of. For my students especially, this is what happens when your career, your job is your passion, meaning what you chose to do as a career is just what you just love to do. You love it so much you actually create a space in your home just to do this sort of stuff. And a lot of this equipment I started collecting from the time I was in college, and I just kept collecting it. Just give you guys an example. This table here is actually 2 file cabinets with a glass top from another table that I have, or that I used to have anyway, on top of it. And this table here, I'm pretty sure I got from someone who was leaving the dorm area and wanted to get rid of their stuff. And table over here, this my cousin was leaving Atlanta and she needed to get rid of her desk real fast, and she gave it to me. So I just said, hey, this was a perfect table to do certain things on. As you can see, I used it for, again, my area where I'm doing the prototyping. But again, this video again is just to give you guys an example as to, just show you where exactly I'm working out of, what how I use the space, and to again let my students know, hey, when your career choice is your passion, I mean, this is what you need to do to be passionate about it. Okay. Again, this is Dr. Clyde Lettsome, and this was just simply a tour of my lab in about 14 minutes and about 15 seconds ish or so. Please do, if you like what you see here, go ahead and click like, share this. In the future, what I'm going to do is, as my lab continues to improve, I'll show you guys more as to what's happening in terms of lab improvement. Make comments below. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and you can actually post them at my website, www.clydelettsome.com / not slash, but look for the Ask the Expert section. All right. Thank you guys for seeing or looking at this video.